Hi, welcome to Girls Game Shelf. We are playing Marrying Mr. Darcy today, and this is a role-playing card game where you are in the world of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and you get to play one of the heroines that is looking for a suitor. Now, each heroine has a different dowry. They also have different abilities, or they have different character points that you could use to attract the suitor of your choice. Once you have chosen which heroine you're going to be, you can turn that card over and see which gentleman she'd like to marry. The first one on the card is going to be who she wants to marry the most, and the last name is going to be who she wants to marry the least. And you get different points for marrying different suitors. So here are the suitors themselves, and you can see on their cards which characteristics they're looking for in their bride-to-be. Each player gets 3 character cards to start, and you are ready to play the game. In the courtship phase, you are earning different character points to try to attract those suitors to you. Each player is going to take turns drawing an event card. Each event card is going to tell you what you have to do for that turn. So this one says, finish your needlepoint. Draw one and play one. So I'm going to draw a character card and play one right in front of me. I'm choosing friendliness because I'm trying to get Mr. Bingley and he wants me to be either friendly or pretty. There are also cunning cards. Cunning cards allow you to do one of 2 things. You could either use it to mess up your rivals, or you can tuck it away and it will help you later during the proposal phase. There's a lot of variation about what could happen to you in an event card, but no matter what happens, you are trying to gain as many character points as possible to attract as many suitors as you can for the proposal phase. The player with the most cunning cards is going to get to enter the proposal phase first, and the player with the least will enter last. We're going to look at all of the suitors and what their standards are and take out the ones that will propose to us. So Mr. Bingley, I got because he wants +5 beauty or +5 friendliness. And Jane comes with 2 beauty and I earned 3. I also unfortunately got Mr. Wickham, who was my last choice, and I attracted the favor of Mr. Collins. Now I'm going to place my suitors in front of me, starting with the one that I want to marry the least and going upwards. And I'm going to include the old maid card in there too. You put these aside. You'll need your character cards later. So these are all my suitors, but before they propose to me, I have to roll a 4, 5, or 6. Since I have more than one suitor, I can enact lady's choice, which means I can choose the one suitor that I want to marry and not have the option of the others. But since I'm taking a chance, I will get +1 on my roll. This is where the push your luck starts in this game. So I'm choosing Mr. Bingley. I get +1. He proposes because I rolled a 3, and with Lady's Choice, I get +1. If I didn't enact Lady's Choice, then I would be rolling for all 3 of my suitors. If I rolled a 4 or higher for Mr. Wickham, he would propose to me, and I could either accept his offer and let that be my match and my final score, or I could decline his offer, which means he is no longer an option for me. Then I would go on to Mr. Collins, and if I get a proposal and decline it, or if I don't roll high enough, then he is no longer an option. Same thing for Mr. Bingley, and if I don't get Mr. Bingley, then I will end up an old maid. Now, to resolve the old maid card, you're going to have to roll once again and see what score you get. And instead of having a marriage score, you'll get an old maid score. At the end of the proposal phase, I add up my marriage points that I've received based on the match that I made. Then I add that score to how many character points I received. The player that has the highest score wins the game. And that is how you play. Scandal! Elopement!
Oh no.
Your sister elopes! Oh no! Your chances of a good marriage are materially damaged by association.
Oh no!
You must keep this card. You have -1 on all proposal rolls. Good Lord!
That didn't work out so well.
It did not.
Good thing it was your sister, not mine.
Wait a minute. All related.
I think one of the reasons we were able to roleplay so well is because the cards were, well, they're drawing from a book, right? With very defined characters, very well-loved characters. The game designer was able to pull out really strong sentences, really strong flavor text to give you a really good idea of who you are. Gamble at cards. Draw 1 character card now. You must wager this card, but may wager more if you prefer. Girls, let's gamble.
Yay!
All right, let's see.
But I only bet one dice.
Curses! I lose my card.
4. What does that mean? I don't lose anything.
You keep your
I
card.
keep my card, but I don't win anything. Okay, that's...
I do believe in luck. Would you please blow? Thank you. Oh, let's see if that worked. Somebody has foul breath.
It might be me.
It must be you.
I rolled a 1.
There's this little gambling moment that I feel kind of set the tone for the game because we were all kind of finding our footing of like how are we gonna like role play this, and like Melissa just took that and was like, it's a game, and like everyone started to gamble and it was fun.
The group that we were playing with all kind of just took on the characters and just went for it, which gave it this really fun, lighthearted feeling when we were playing. Oh, Spinsterhood agrees with you.
No! Steal your sister's bonnet.
Lizzie!
Who should have worn bonnets?
Draw a random card from any other player's hand and play it on your character immediately.
My comb!
Feels so beautiful in this bonnet. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. Please, continue.
Unladylike behavior. Your rival is caught pretending to read a book to capture your suitor's attention. You would do that. You know that's what they love about me.
Would pretend.
I don't know what you're doing. This book upside down.
Use this card to discard a rival's top wit card or a random card from their hand.
No!
Goodbye,
Darcy!
Oh, belle of the ball. Your performance at the piano forte outshines all of your rivals. Use this card to discard a rival's top reputation card or a random card from their hand. No one has a reputation card,
No,
right?
But we do have cards in our hands.
reputation. Blue.
Blue, 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 blue. Or a card from their
Is it?
hand.
Yep.
Or a card from their hand. It's so hard to tell at this point who's doing better.
No,
Do I get to see what it is?
It's cunning, you bitch. I see how it is, ladies. Well, it's fine. Happy Christmas. Each character draws one character card. You're welcome. I'm making peace. It's Christmas.
Last round.
Christmas makes us all feel better.
Oh, surprise proposal.
Charlotte, we told you to wait.
If you are Georgiana or have eloped, discard this card and draw a new card event. A new event card. For everyone else, that's me. Mr. Darcy proposes out of the blue. If you accept this card and move Darcy next to your character, unless an event card has you elope, you are engaged for the rest of the game and then marry automatically for a total of 9 points. If you reject him, draw 1, play 1. I'm going to take it.
Oh no!
That was so easy. Let me just make sure this is right. For everyone else,
Lizzie, I
Mr. Darcy proposes out of the blue. If you accept, I do, keep this card and move Darcy next to your character. Unless an event card has you elope, you are engaged for the rest of the game.
Says we heard it.
And then married automatically for a total of 9
We know.
points. Surprise!
Charlotte, you are so lucky that Mr. Darcy is so handsome.
Yes,
and-
very
and
lucky.
Quite well off and has such wit.
Yes, and it looks like we're making side eyes towards each other.
Lizzie, dear, are you okay?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. I'm so happy for you, Charlotte. It's wonderful.
You
Hooray.
seem a little put out.
I'm just still tired from Christmas. Congratulations, Charlotte. Very happy for you.
At first I was like, oh, but I wanted Darcy. But also I saw how much it was bothering Lizzie. And so it became very fun to be super supportive of Charlotte in all her good fortune, because then Lizzie would get like steam coming out of her ears.
As soon as Charlotte got Mr. Darcy, like, just my life just went to hell. What? Elopement! Ah! is already married. You narrowly escape, and your turn ends
no.
now.
Uh-oh.
If he is not married,
It's not.
keep this card. Discard all the reputation cards you have played on your character. Oh, Lizzie! Remove Mr. Wickham from the other suitors and place him next to you.
Oh,
He is now your only suitor and unavailable to anyone else for the entire game. At the start of the proposal stage, if you have a dowry of 3 or more, he proposes, and you must say yes. If not, he will be bribed to propose to you. If you roll a 5 or a 6, otherwise you become an old maid. This card may be discarded. It may be discarded, and Wickham return to the suitors if you can gain back your reputation of 3 or more, and discard 4 played character card, or discard 4 played character points, or discard 4 played character points.
Lizzie.
I feel really very bad right now.
Oh, Mother's favourite. Draw 2 and play 1.
Interesting.
Mother's favorite.
Mother's favourite.
Oh,
And you know, it does make me glow and feel absolutely beautiful to have her favour.
Oh, I'm also Mother's favorite. It's just so... Who would have thought? Charlotte Lucas.
Well, you know, I think as long as we're not engaged to Mr. Wickham, we're all Mother's favourite.
Draw 2, play 1. It's fair. I will play...
Poor heart is broken, Lizzie.
What can I do here?
I have nothing witty to say to that, and I have 2 wits, and I'm just speechless.
Oh,
I'm very positive about my future.
It's good.
It's good.
Listen, maybe we don't know Mr. Wickham very well. Maybe he's lovely.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He does seem to be making an awful lot of demands about dowry, however.
He does. But you know, I have high hopes. Did you laugh at me?
Oh, it's just...
Are you done, Charlotte? Pardon me.
Continue.
Christina was almost blinded to the fact that Charlotte had stolen her dear Mr. Darcy and was almost like kept coming over to me to bother me and take stuff from me when Charlotte was over there just mopping up.
Unladylike behavior. Your rivals overheard insulting you behind your back, calling your face too thin, and your complexion lacking in brilliancy. Use this card to discard a rival's top friendliness card or a random card from their hand. Well,
Why am I your rival? Perhaps it was Charlotte.
I ever would have been your rival.
you are my rival.
You said that I'm literally your rival.
Well, I think Charlotte was just really didn't have any care in the world about the other ladies, and I don't really think she thought of them as a rival because she was obviously winning right from the get-go.
We're running out of event cards. Just
I
if anybody
know.
would like to notice here, there's 3
Oh.
left, which means we each get 1 more turn.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Whether or not you wanted to know that, I've now pointed it out.
It's too soon.
Belle of the ball.
It's too soon.
Belle of the ball. Your new gown outshines all of your rivals. Use this card to discard a rival's top beauty card or a random card from their hand.
I would like to point out that Mary has much more beauty, and that I'm definitely not your rival because I'm doing quite poorly, if I may be frank.
Charlotte, do you
Yes,
have
yes,
any
yes,
rivals,
yes,
really? Everything's going so smashing for you.
Let's just, even it out.
Let's see. Scandal! Oh no! Your gown was deemed far too revealing.
I love the card.
Discard your character's top reputation card, of course. Not like I have any left. If you have none, discard any 1 card from your hand. Any 1 card from your hand, and I don't get to.
You must discard your reputation.
But it's all I have.
Well, you shouldn't go around dressed like that, Lizzie.
That's quite true, and I might deserve that.
Final event of the day. Finish your needlepoint. Draw 1 and play 1. All right. Here's hoping. Oh, thank goodness. 1 reputation.
Oh, I see that you're looking at Mr. Collins, then.
Yes, our cousin is quite the sensible choice, is he not?
He must be.
Great. So I accept.
Congratulations, Charlotte.
That's what happens, right?
Well, right, you're
Yes.
already engaged.
You're already engaged.
Surprise proposal.
Be strange for you not to accept that. So, honestly, I actually don't have any options except for Mr. Wickham. And even he might not choose me because I don't have a very large dowry. I only have 2 and he wants 3. So, as strangely as this turned out, it might be a good match. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do hope that Mr. Wickham decides to propose to me. It's been a sad year. Nope. Mr. Wickham does not propose.
Really? But I thought he was with you.
Well, he will only propose to me if I have 3 dowry or if I roll a 5 or a
Right,
6.
I think they spent quite some time together, but he has not come through with the marriage proposal as Lizzie may have thought in her haste.
Well, I didn't want to
enjoy
say
herself.
this, but we had an argument. And as much as a lady can choose, I did say, Mr. Wickham, patooey. Patooey. So I'll be drawing this card, please. An old maid. I'd rather be an old maid.
Oh, I do wonder what happens to you, Lizzie.
Me too. Let's see.
Oh, Lizzie.
You live a short, lonely, and bitter life. So yeah, I ended up an old maid, which could have been awesome. I could have been the old maid Jane Austen that was like okay with herself even, that lived a good life. But I rolled a 1.
She never did get over that Mr. Darcy.
No,
did
she
she?
never will.
First of all, I know Mr. Collins is looking my way. And that is it, I believe.
Really?
So, I guess I can't ladies' choice, which is terrible, because I really do want to marry Mr. Collins.
Good luck,
So
darling.
pleasant. Oh, Mr. Collins, I accept!
27, 28, 29, 30, 31.
Well, I
Well
have
played,
a nice...
Charlotte.
1 past 30.
1 and 30. I have a nice, respectable 19, and I'm fine with that, because at least I am happily married to the man of my choice.
Your cousin.
Excellent.
Attractive
Excellent.
cousin.
And I have a very unfortunate 2 points. And I die shortly after this game. And I do have Mr. Darcy at my funeral, and a single tear rolls down his cheek. Because as we all know, Mr. Darcy proposed to Charlotte, but his heart was with Lizzie.
But it's better that you died then.
Bravo, ladies! Bravo.
Overall, I really did like the game, but I think that a lot of it is up to chance. I don't feel that my strategy or how I was going about it from the beginning of the game, how I thought I might play the game, if any of that actually really translated into me winning. I feel like I won by chance. I don't feel like I earned it, or that it was because I'm good at playing games, or I was good at playing against my opponents in the game. So to me, what was really the fun part about the game was the role playing.
So I can see maybe if you're not a role player, how that could be a little bit of a... There wouldn't be as much going on in the game. It's not as substantial of a game. But if you're willing to play at being a Bennett or one of their neighbors, then I think that you're going to have like a lot of fun with this.
I think that even if you were with a group that didn't role play it, that it could still be fun if you're a fan of the book, because you're just giggling at all these crazy cards like, oh, scandal, you know, it's just fun.
I'm just imagining, like, in my ideal world, I would go to one of those fancy English tea places, like tea shops, and like order some tea and wear like big fancy hats, and then bring this game and we'd play this around a tea table while drinking tea. I just feel like that would be so wonderful.
I would put this game on the shelf. I thought it was really fun for the social and the role-playing aspect.
This game definitely goes on the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it on the shelf.
So that's our show today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on social media, on Twitter and Facebook and all the things. And we have a Patreon page, so check that out too. And we will see you next time on Girls Game Shelf. Bye.